Hello there and welcome to another segment of tape preservation. In this segment we are going to reveal something new. You can see that the fancy screen has been all blanked out, but let's see what's going to be revealed. Dun 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 dun. Ta-ta! Would you look at that? We are now introducing Spectacular Turbo to Disk version 2.0. This is huge news in the preservation area, I can tell you. This has been an ongoing project for many months. I would say probably a year, all in all. But I think it took an extra swing, a couple of, 6 months or something like that time ago, when me and Sailor of Triad, we were talking about, turbo tapes and turbo copy, turbo to disk things in general. And a few years ago he came up with a very nice improved version of Stefan Zenz. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, but hey, come on, Anyhow, he kind of invented the whole thing, actually. He did, because it started back in the days with a program called TurboCopy T2D. It was a turbo tape to disk transferring software, which was very great. Indeed, it was really good. And a few years later he came up with the first version of Spectacular Copy. And it was kind of you could do many things with it. You could you could transfer disk to turbo, and you could transfer the turbo to disk, the turbo tapes, and you could also have disk to auto turbo and turbo to turbo. So it was a very complex box, so to say. It was a full bento box. But nowadays you have other programs for this, and most of the programs back in the days, they wrote turbo from they wrote the images or the program files from floppy to turbo tapes, because they wanted to spread it out. Yeah, so that part has already been done with the Spectacular Copy that I mentioned, with a bento box like that. But now things started to go crazy here, or actually from crazy to more, what do we need today? Well, the precious tapes, I've been talking about this for many times, and I could go on talking about the turbo tapes and the very importance of getting them preserved. I could go on talk to them till everybody will do it, but I'm gonna spare you that speech. Anyhow, so let's get into it. What's new inside 2.0? Well, this is the release candidate version 3, so it's not really out yet, but don't worry, you will get it. So, what's been included in this? Well, like I said before, me and Sailor, we were talking about what do we really need, how to make this even more compact and even more like the super suite, the super toolbox. Well, the first thing that came to our minds were this tool, the head align, because the head align is something you really need, because it doesn't matter. Somewhere in this, in this whole journey, so to speak, you will get tapes with different written and data onto the cassette. It's no surprise. It's what's happening. That's what's going on. So we wanted to try to include the head align written by Anthis of Onslaught. We wanted to include his perfect, really small compact tool into this. And actually it went really fine. We did it. I can tell you, we did it. And to prove it, we're just gonna go here. Would you look at that? now you have it there. And you can, well, I can just press play on tape and see what's going on, because I'm kind of preserving things today. It's a perfect day for that. So, if we're looking at the signal flow, we can see we have some smaller cracks there. But else, I think the lines are looking good, actually. You can see that we have like the init, but here is something weird going on. So maybe this tape has been damaged other ways, like audio damaged, or well, some kind of crumble on the actual tape mass. We don't know. I haven't looked at it. I haven't inspected it, so to say. But following the lines, it looks good. I eventually could tweak this just a little bit to be on the safe side, because I can see that if we're just turning it, yeah, there we go. Now things are not looking good. So we're just gonna turn it gentle. There we go. Aha, what do you see? Now the lines are, the second line there is more complete. Let's rewind the tape and look at it again. So we get like, we have the reference lines, so to say, in our mind, or well, it depends on how you put it. But anyhow, let's just look at it. We can see that there are less crackles, so to speak, but we can also see that these lines are smaller. So we are going to tweak it back. And I mean, this is excuse me, this is really powerful, because now we can see that the lines are getting, it wasn't good, won't do that on the Sunday, you know. But here things are good, things are looking good, you know. All right, so we just rewind the tape, and by pressing restore, pang, we are back to the menu. Of course we are back to the menu, because, well, we haven't really started the program yet, because there are some other really fine things included in this version as well. I mean, once we were at it, so to speak, we wanted to give something more, you know, give the full package, you know. That's how it goes. Good isn't good enough, so to speak. So what happened here? Well, let's just, for a good measure, you know, throw some salt over your back, or whatever you want to do. We're just gonna go through this once, not once and all, once and for all, I mean, but another. We're gonna give it a second ride. So, if we are looking here, if you're pressing F1, you will change the destination drive. And why would you want to do that? Well, it's kind of logic in a way, because by default you have the device 8, but you also want to sometimes have it to 9. It depends on 10, 11, 12. At 12, that is for an IDE or network drives, I think, or network drives works a little bit different, but it doesn't matter, because you can have like this for an IDE interface, so you can save for endless things. So that is really great. It's awesome. And I mean, if we see the need of people want to have other device numbers as well, sure, we will do it, but let's go for what we have received feedbacks and comments, what people need, what people want to have for the devices. Anyhow, let's go down there to the F3. We have the auto transfer mode, and that is when you have the head aligned perfectly on the cassette deck or dataset. It will just go on. It doesn't stop. And well, I think that is brilliant, because then you can just, you know, press play and go and do whatever you wanna do. I don't know your life, but yeah. And F5, you can ignore blocks free. And by normal you have like 660 K on a floppy drive, and blocks, I mean, sorry. But sometimes you wanna have it to not check for the default free. And why is that? Well, if you have like some kind of, you know, storage device, like an SD2 IEC card or whatever, then you just wanna, yeah, well, it can go up to like, I don't know, it depends on the size of your SD card. But if you have like 8 gigabyte, well, that's like an enormous block. That's enormous. Yeah, you can put lots of floppies on that, so to speak. Yeah, you get my point. You get my point. I don't have to go like down the whole goddamn river. Anyhow, and if we are looking at the F7, the function 7, fixed tape file names, and that is when if we are going a little bit deeper into the TurboTape format, the header is actually, or the header can be longer than what you really see on the screen, so to say. And well, some, you know, the kids back in the days, they were making fancy colors in the file names. You know, you could have like this rainbow colors or whatever colors you wanted to have. But if you're saving that to the floppy, in some scenarios it doesn't really get the way you want to have it. You have like, if you have like the dollar sign or pound sign or, yeah, quote marks, sometimes it doesn't do it for the 1541's veg routines or whatever. So what this does is that it affects the weird characters to normal characters. And also if you have like, let's say you have an empty header, it will make some kind of, it will make it not empty header, because to save like an empty header to the floppy, well, go figure. You do the math, I just calculated for you later. Anyhow, so here is also something that is really cool. The fast IO routine has been fixed, or actually not fixed, it has been improved a little bit with other routines, because also when we made the fast save routine for 1.2, we took lots of different alternatives, but we came up that the final cartridge 3 save routine, fast save I should, and fast, yes, is the best one, because it's really robust and it works actually on most of the systems so far. Well, I've been trying it on all kind of configurations. I haven't really ran into any kind of error, but there is some more. We can also now have a specific fast save routine for the 1581, because it differs a bit between the 41 and the 81. It does, trust me, I know. And now we also have support for Dolphin DOS, and it's fast. It's really fast. And we have the slow mode. The slow mode can be used if you're having one of these SD card solutions, because then you don't want to use this fast save, because it doesn't, well, it doesn't matter, it doesn't use it for some reason. Well, it depends on, I think that there are some newer versions like the Evolution 2 of the SD to IEC interface that actually has some kind of save or fast save routines and fast loaders on it, but I'm not 100% up to date, because I haven't really looked into it yet, so to speak, even though if I have one, and well, you know. But that's when you can use the slow routines, and perhaps if you're using like an IDE device or anything like that, maybe it has better performance if you're using the slow mode, but that is awesome. But yeah, most of the time you want to have the fast save routine turned on, because it really saves time. I can tell you, you can save minutes. And if you're thinking like 2 minutes for each save, and you have like a cassette that is like 4 to 5 minutes each side, and if it's like jam-packed, oh well, if you have like 15 or 20 TurboTape files and each of them takes like 2-3 minutes to save, you're not done by Christmas, man. You will have to work the clock. Trust me, I know. And that was also why we even talked about. And when I say we, I mean Sailor and I, and a couple of other really top-notch preservers. We were discussing it. I mean, this is a long introduction to this, but I just want you to know all the effort and work that is put into this awesome tool. Also, when Sailor actually wrote this program, he kind of picked the old version apart and he just rewrote the whole thing from scratch. Because at first the code was kind of disassembled, and then Vaki of Arise, he made some additional code to it. He made a lot of changes to it actually, so it would be more up to date. But we rewrote, or we, Sailor, I should give him all the credits. I'm just like the inventor and he's the, we are a team. We are a very, very good teamwork. So in that process he also rewrote the whole turbo save routine, because I think that the original spectacular copy, it was based on the Turbo Tape 64. And the Turbo Tape 64, it's like the godfather of all turbos. It was the original that Stefan Sands wrote back in the days. And I mean, if you don't know what it is, do your homework. Wow, that is like, the ultimate thing. If it wasn't for that turbo, I don't know if I would have been sitting here today even conversating about the whole thing. But the turbo tape routine is also like rewritten and more, more compact, because the original, like I said, it was disassembled, I think. But yeah, if you have like connections, you can go straight to the source and get some proper information from, whoa, this guy, Mr. Z. I wonder who he is. Who is he? I wonder. Alright, that was really, really good to wonder about it when you know who he is. Well, he's kind of the guy who really took the turbo tape scene, so to speak, to a completely different level. So, with his Turbo 250 in mind, because Turbo 250 allows you to save a larger amount of data to the tape and back. Yeah, so that was kind of the improvement he made, and that is also what differs his Turbo from the Turbo Tape 64. Alright, so I have done enough of talk, I think. Let's get into this. Like we saw before, we aligned the head, and now we just press enter to start. Because why I made this like huge, enormous introduction here is because I think it's important for all you watching at home to really get the whole, the whole spectrum, so you get a bit of background history, because I don't think anyone has been like sharing it. And I mean, when the Turbo Tape 64 was made back in 1983, I mean, I wasn't even involved. I came out in the Turbo Tape scene, so to speak, about 1988, 97, 87, I mean. So yeah, it had been going on for a long time. I mean, you had like 5 years to catch up, and back in the days, the only thing I had was like Turbo 250. Well, I had some improved version of it, but I really didn't like them. Now, for some reason, I had this ABC Turbo, and yeah, well, I wanted to use the original, I wanted to use the absolute greatest of them all. Alright, like we can see now, things are going really, really well. And I can see that the tape is aligned, so to say. The head is aligned for the tape. So, we are in good business here. I'm almost hoping to get an error here, because yeah, well, we don't need to have an error. I can, yeah, we can pretend, imagine that things. All right, yeah, let's. This one is going to be saved correctly. I'm just stopping the tape now, and we're going to simulate the scenario that the next file it's going to find. Alright, yeah, so now we have pressed play on tape and it's starting to load and we get an error. You know, back in the day, or not back in the days, but before you had to, you know, load your tape align, head align I mean, and go twiddling, screwing around so to speak, and load the spectacular again. But now you can just press restore. You get two options here, space to transfer or H to head align. So we're back into the program, and when everything is done, you just press restore, press space, press play on tape, and things will go on. And this is really useful if you're on a stock Commodore 64, when you actually have the real hardware, not just the dataset, because you have, when you have like the real physical floppy drive, then you know it takes time. It takes time to load things. Even if this is fast, it takes time. And also you can have other kernels installed or whatever. I mean, yeah, go figure. Then you save time, and trust me, I've been preserving, well, lots of tape, and I'm still active doing it, so I know the very importance of time. Time is really pressure. That's for sure. But thank you guys very much for watching this and listening to me talking about the whole process, because like I said, this is dedication, and we are doing this on our pressure-free time, spare time, when, you know, when the family is asleep, so to speak. We are the wolves in the woods sitting there doing our stuff. So that's why I decided to make this segment pretty long, because I wanted to fill you out. So thank you very much for watching, and leave comments down below and vote and do whatever you want. Spread this video out. The more you do it, the better for us, for us preservators to really get feedback and input. So I will see you guys in another one. Bye!